Hello and welcome to another episode of The Chaotic Minds. I am your host, Devontae Ewing, aka DJ Thunderbase, and I am joined today by my co-hosts.
Hello, I am Henry Montney, also known as Mayhem Hearts Mace. How you guys doing tonight?
And I am Dark Trooper, coming from you live from an undisclosed location, aka my couch.
I knew it.
And today we're going to start off with weather for you guys real quick. How's the weather looking like over there?
All right, the weather over here is right now raining like crazy. It's gonna rain.
I think it stopped raining.
Oh, it's raining over here right now.
I guess it shifted over to you guys.
Yup. And it's gonna be muggy and cloudy for the rest of the night. A little chilly. I think it's dropping from the 50s to the mid 40s at one point. And it's gonna go back up to I think the 60s tomorrow.
Yeah, late 60s, according to La Google.
Well, we'll see if it's true tomorrow. Knowing Michigan weather, it's bipolar and it changes at random.
Are we going like this?
And here in central Michigan, Dimedale area, looks like right now, at the moment, we've got clearing, no rain at the moment. But we should be expecting rain within an hour at 10 o'clock going into the night. Should be looking at cloudy all night tonight. And then tomorrow until the weekend, we are looking at some pretty harsh weather tomorrow, more rain tomorrow. But over the weekend, it's looking like it's going to be up in the mid 70s, upper and to the mid 80s by next week. So it looks like we're going to be in for a nice warm week coming up ahead.
How can you have 0% rain?
I don't believe them.
I'm looking at Grand Haven's weather on the weather app on my phone, and it's literally saying thundercloud, rainy thing, and it says 0%. I'm like, wait, what? So what? So like the water go up into the sky? How's that work?
It's like asking Google Maps to take you somewhere, and they tell you to take a left, and there's a tree there, and you're like, but there's a tree there, and it says, do you want to go back to your wife? And you go, oh, fuck, and you just take a hard left, and bam. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, there's just a huge body of water. It's like, but there's a huge body of water there. Well, I just want to make sure you're not a witch. So if you survive, you'll be fine.
What? I think you're a witch. And the Google's like self-destructing in 3, 2, no! Self-driving car just explodes. Yeah, no, I've had the strangest issues with that. But for weather right now, it's getting better, which is nice, especially in the Michigan area.
Yeah, on the West Coast in Grand Haven, it's currently raining. And it's going to be raining. It's going to be raining on and off probably for the rest of the day. Into the hours of the morning.
You guys be safe out there when it's the rain and it gets slippery. You don't want to hydroplane.
And there's it's going to be cool on the West Coast, and it's going to start getting warm, then cold, warm, cool, warm, cool, warm, cool. All that good stuff.
But let's move on into our next section. As he was saying, it gets warm, cold, warm, cold. What better way to get warm, cold than with a relationship? Relationships are always going up and down, and who better to explain how to get through those up and downs like a roller coaster? Henry with our relationship advice.
All right, guys, girls, and squirrels out there. relationship advice goes towards not just girlfriend, boyfriend, husband, wife. It also goes towards friends and to family. Now, with today's relationship advice, we're going to go into friends and or family that try to self-destruct your livelihood or relationship. Be mindful out there. There are people out there that who will get jealous that are in your family or in your friend circle, and they'll try to keep you single and or try to scare away your significant other. It's very upsetting that there are those people out there in this world. Got to be mindful of them. They will try to pull little tricks, pranks, message them, or try to lie and convince you by manipulation tactics. If something like that happens, be wary. Always communicate with your significant other and or friend and see what's true or not. Sometimes that people will be looking out for you, but other times they are trying to do something out of spite and or jealousy. I've noticed that more in my friend circle that was towards the lady friends. They like to keep each other single when one or two are single. It's kind of a weird habit. You shouldn't be into it. Yeah, you should be trying to help each other out. Or some of the guys out there, they need to do that as well. That's why it's called a wingman. So for you guys have any questions out there for relationship advice that I can help you with? And same thing for the comments. Like, share, and subscribe, and comment, and ask a question, and I'll see if I can answer it with a experience or something of knowledge that I've learned.
Or just talk to us. I'm the guy who hasn't gone on dates because I prefer my solitude, peaceful life over the chaos that is the dating scene.
I've been through more than people can count, but I got it right and then figured out the right personality I had to be with. And me and my wife, ever since we've been together, it's been a happy 10 years. And actually, today is our 10-year anniversary. Happy 10 years completely. Like, we were together, but we didn't get our official date until this day. So on the 28th of May is when we have our celebrations every year. So we celebrated with one of our favorite unique desserts for tonight. And then our kid decided to attack the rest. So what is any questions you guys have for relationship advice that I can help you with? Or anything you want to ask the world and we can discuss together?
Well, what do you do when you're trying to set up a boundary with a family member or a friend and they just keep violating said boundary? What do you suggest they should try?
We do a 3-strike rule on that, depending on what it is. And for that, I would suggest talking with them or sitting down with them and explaining to them, hey, this is something you don't do. This isn't right. This isn't cool. Say if it's walking in on you and said significant other when you guys are having some cuddle time or whatnot, or they're just always happening to make loud, obstructive noises every time you two are sitting together on a chair watching a show or TV, and they're purposely trying to make it so you're not next to each other. You can ask them politely. If they don't respond and or respect you, you can over time just avoid them in general. Unless you sadly live with them, it's a little harder, but you can get through it. Finding out if it's like a little brother or a little sister, it's a little easier to go to the parents about that. If not, if you're the older sibling, you can discipline them in your own actions. But if it's a cousin or uncle, just avoid them in general then, or a crazy aunt. I've had plethora when it comes to the family. A lot of people tried to ruin my relationships. Gets a little crazy. So yeah, just avoid them all out, block them, don't talk to them, don't communicate with them. If they try to communicate with other people, say of the family, message the other family and just say, hey, by the way, we had a falling out. They're trying to say this, this, and this. By the way, here's the proof. Here's the text messages. Have a nice day. That's usually what I do. And it never had problems from there. Anything back to you for DJ Thunderbase Studios?
scissors.
Yeah, don't run with scissors, people. Always tie your shoes. Look both ways before crossing the street. Basic rules. There's only a few issues, sadly, with some people without it. They don't like to follow the rules, and bad things happen.
Or they have to learn the hard way.
Yep, learning the hard way seems to be the genetic default. You've noticed in the world, tell someone not to do something, they look at you and go, I know what I'm doing, and then they get hurt a few seconds after. Remember, for safety gear, if you're going to be wearing anything for safety tips, wear safety goggles or PPE, personal protective equipment.
Or just think of it this way. Think of what happened to the dodo. A dodo curiosity itself to death. Oh, this is an interesting hole. It smells really nice.
Yeah, the dodos, I wonder how the extinction of them actually occurred. I would love to see some imagery of what really happened. Like, wow, it really just ran off a cliff or something, just like in a cartoon. That'd be hilarious.
They stupid themselves to death.
Some did. Sadly, we're kind of dealing with that. And other kind of safety tips in a manner is be mindful of substances. Do not be taking any kind of narcotic, especially if you're told not to. Double check with any kind of physician and or doctors that you have. If you're taking something with medical purposes, such as CBD, THC, or anything else, make sure you have gone to the proper medical authorities, understand why you need that for a purpose or not. If not, if you're taking anything else, do it on your own time. Do not do it in any kind of place such as work and or driving or in city public places.
And if
you guys have any questions or have any safety tips that you can throw out there before we switch to the next subject?
I can't wait for the 4th of July so we can just say, don't play with fireworks.
Yes. Please, people, when you are lighting fireworks, do not point them at people. Do not hold them. do not put them in place.
Over them. Do not do this. Do not do that. And yet people still do. And then for Thanksgiving, don't put a frozen turkey in boiling hot oil. It doesn't end well.
No, it does not.
That's how you end up with your house turning into charcoal.
You always do something like that outside anyways, and even then you always fill the oil only halfway because you have to think about the density, thickness, and weight of the turkey that's going to push it almost all the way to the top. If you put it to the top and you put that in there, it's going to pour right out, catch on fire from the flames that are under it. Now you have a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Seen it happen a couple times in my life from other people. Learned my lessons and watched people that were very cautious and professional like my dad, and he did it the right way, going, you do it, you measure everything. And he would pour everything with a measuring cup and make sure everything was correct to the right levels. Drop the turkey in, knowing the weight, width, and density of the turkey, making sure it's already de-thawed, making sure that, it wasn't just all full of water. And then put it in properly and put the lid right on it to make sure it didn't boil right up. I've witnessed it many other ways. Also, he made the best shrimp gumbo you could ever think of. But that's a different note. Anything else for safety tips before we go back to the Thunder Bay Studios?
I can't think of anything.
All right, back to you.
And so, like many others, we all celebrate our birthday. And that includes our celebrities, both alive and forgotten.
Maybe we ended it again. It was the 18th, right?
We ended off, I think, on the 18th. We are now on the 19th.
No, the 21st.
Are we?
No, today's the 28th. So we ended on the 21st.
You are correct, sir. We'll start on the 21st. Okay. We already did this one because Notorious Big G was one of the ones we talked about. So we're on the 22nd.
Yep.
Okay, so we're gonna start right off with wow, I started right off on one of myself. I can't even say. Penton Elizabeth Lee, a TV actress, 21. Happy birthday. You find anyone you wanna mention? I got Katie Price, 47, model.
I got one. Sean Gunn. He's the actor who played in the Gilmore Girls. He was the tall guy in Gilmore Girls who was always made fun of by the town.
Mhm.
And I think he also played a character in the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Huh. Interesting.
Hmm.
We'll do one more for there. We'll do Paula Chives, 23, TV actress. We'll go on to
I got one more.
all right.
Michael Kenny is in the House of Cards series. He was also in Luke and Dixie, Law and Order, Special Victims Unit, blah blah blah.
Okay.
Okay, May 23rd then.
And starting that off, I'd like to go that one with Bray Wyatt.
Wow, it's just
WWE wrestler, passed away in 2023.
Yep, 1987 to 2023. A WWE wrestler. How did he? What happened? How did he die? He was a great wrestler.
Heart attack.
Wow, he was really good. He bring the crowd and everything, and then that happened.
Yep.
I'm so sorry.
I got one. Drew Carey, the host of the Drew Carey Show, the host of Whose Line Is It Anyway, and
Yep.
I think he's also currently the host of The Price Is Right.
Yes.
Interesting. We got Lena Marie Landrat, 34.
You like picking those hard ones, don't you?
I just accidentally pick them and I go, wow, how did I manage to pick one of the hardest names? We're going to do one more. If you find it before I do, let me know. I got one. Lyndon Ashby, 65, movie actor.
Yeah, that was the one I was looking at, but I'm like, nope.
I slaughtered his name. I'm sorry for ruining people's names. I'm not the best at that part. But if you want, you can always like, share, comment, and subscribe, and tell me your feelings and how I say people's names.
Or just make fun of us.
I love that part too.
Or give the proper pronunciation.
Please. All right, we are on the 24th. We got GEV 36. It's a rapper. It's literally it's G with the EZ, but with a Z instead of a S.
G-Easy.
Or how about this one? I'm going to be one. Priscilla Presley. She's the wife of Elvis Presley.
Oh wow.
And she was in from 1967 to 1973 and plays a role in the Dallas series.
Nice. All right, and I got another one here called Bob Dylan, 84, folk singer. I got another one, Queen Victoria, 1819 to 1901.
Ooh, which one?
Queen.
The OG or
Queen Victoria is all I know. And,
I mean, that's the OG.
It was.
No, it was not the OG. It was 18.
Sure.
Yeah, she was 1901.
Yeah, 1901 is when she died.
Mm-hmm.
So,
this is the one. 1819.
Yeah, she was the original.
Yeah, that's the OG.
Queen of the United Kingdom from the nation of morality and oversaw the British Empire and hold the largest reign of the monarchy until Queen Elizabeth II. So she was the first one.
Yep. So got another one right here called IDK. He's 33, a rapper. I don't know.
So, but all those people in London, if you were watching this, we apologize if we got that wrong.
For the ladies out there that I remember from London, au revoir. I'm sorry.
That's France.
Oh, wrong girls. Even worse.
Especially French.
Buying France.
You made fun of the English with the French. Oh,
That made it worse, and I love it. Oh, especially because I played a British bad guy. Oh, back to it though. Caden Boyd, 31, movie actor.
here's one. John
yeah.
C. Riley, movie actor. He was in Chicago. The Step Brothers. He was the other. He was with that in that one movie with Will Ferrell, the Step Brothers.
Him.
I got another one. Alfred Molina,
Ooh.
72, movie actor. Oh no, we'll end it for that one. We're gonna go into
one more.
Okay.
William Pesto. He's a comedian who played in Mad TV and in the Three Stooges movie.
I'm gonna put that as a meme shirt. And we're gonna go to the next. No, I got one more. That's gonna be great. I got one. Roman Reigns, 40 years old, pro wrestler.
The tribal chief.
Ooh,
man! If I would have gotten if I would have made it to WWE,
I got one. Colin,
he would have loved fighting me.
Cillian Murphy. He's the guy who played in Oppenheimer and in Pinky Blinders as the main brother.
And he also plays Scarecrow.
Played
Played a lot of things. The funny thing is he's actually like a British dude in his voice and everything. When he talks real good American English though.
Oh my goodness, Ian McClellan, Magneto, Gandalf. And
you're happy about this one.
Yeah, he's Gandalf, man.
Yeah, it's one of the greatest. We got one of my favorites right here. He's the spy who shagged me himself. Mike Myers, 62, movie actor. Man, I have watched his movies and Wayne's World and everything else for years. I loved his stuff. Back when I did pro wrestling as Mayhem, and I had to be a British bad guy, I would watch Spice Girls and watch Austin Powers all the time and just mimic those for a while. It was fun. Then I actually dated a girl that she was from there, so it was a little easier.
Yeah, baby.
I had no idea.
I got one. Ethan Suplee. He played it. He's the actor who played the big chunky guy in Remember the Titans.
Nice. All right, now we're gonna go into May 26th. Right here we have Scott Dixon, 42, reality star. Stevie Nicks, 77, rock singer.
How about Helen Boyd Carey? She was the woman who played in.
I had a biggest crush on her.
If I remember correctly, she play the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, Terminator Salvation,
and she played as the Red Queen, and she played as a witch in Harry Potter, and anything with Johnny Depp.
They were married, weren't they?
People
was also in Sweeney Todd.
They should have gotten married. I think those two should have. Yeah.
Ooh, here's one. The Duke himself, John Wayne.
Nice. Got another one. Yiji, 25, pop singer. Lenny Kravitz, 61, funk singer. Wow, funk. I haven't heard funk in a minute. Last time I heard funk was DJ Thunderbase talking about funk. I haven't heard it from anybody else in a long time.
Or how about Matt Stone, the co-creator of South Park?
Hank Williams Jr., 76, country singer. Okay, one more in there. What do you want to find it for us?
Yeah, I'm looking. See if there's anyone interesting. Interesting picture.
People are going. You just insulted all those people. How dare you? How dare you?
Yeah, let's just move on.
All right, we're going to be moving on. So we got Zach Piron, 24, pop singer, for May 27th. Okay, after that we have Lily Rose Depp, 26, movie actress. Wait, is that Johnny Depp's daughter? Now I'm curious.
Oh, here's one.
The child of Johnny Depp.
Oh wow!
How about Christopher Lee, who
Who you get with?
Count Dooku?
Christopher Lee.
Yeah, the man who played Count Dooku. And Sauron.
He rests
And
in
then
peace.
Connor Lee, 22. Got another one, Chris Colfer, 35, TV actor. James O'Keefe, 50, Chief. Chief of what?
People, these
South Park. Okay, that's what you're talking about.
Oh, he plays the character Chief.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Or Chef.
And
He's
yeah.
Chef.
he's the new
which
chef.
unfortunately they had a falling out, which and I liked how they kind of just like ended the friendship in the show. It's like, yeah, let's just throw him over a cliff, get him mauled by animals, get him ripped apart by animals, have him get to fall on sharp, pointy objects, and then resurrect him as a Darth Vader version of himself. Yeah, they had a falling out because of the actor who played Chef was a big Scientologist, and they didn't like the fact that they were making fun of Scientology.
Yeah, so when they kicked him out, they had somebody else. They just took all his voice clips and used all those at the very end. All his old voice clips. Very dark, though. Back to it, though. Ben Fieldman, 45, TV actor. That's interesting. Logan Alexandra, 26, pop singer. All right, and that'll be it for 27th, and we are on the 28th, which is now of this day. Who should we? Here we go. Seth Rollins, 39, pro wrestler. His birthday is today. Happy birthday. I'm still a better wrestler than you.
Oh, that guy.
I'm sorry. Until he can win a championship or a match at all, without the help of someone else, he's always going to be a coward in my eyes.
I was undefeated.
Until he gets his cummerbund, he doesn't get the right to call himself a wrestler.
Right. I was the Great Lakes champion, undefeated for 2 years, and someone else got pinned, and I didn't lose the belt technically in that way because I didn't get pinned. I didn't tap out. It was a Money in the Bank jump in for a triple threat when it was supposed to be a one-on-one.
Jeb Robertson, reality star. I think he's part of the Duck Dynasty guys. Yeah.
Duck Dynasty, interesting. Jake Johnson, 47, TV actor. Ooh, here's one of my favorites right now. Laura Bailey, 44, voice actress. Happy birthday, Laura. Big voice actress for Mortal Kombat, amongst a bunch of other stuff. Critical Role. Yep, she's part of Critical Role. I love D&D, and she is a big part of that for me because my favorite character from her is
I wonder if they're going to do a birthday stream for her tomorrow.
Maybe, I don't know. I'm very interested about this. She did Dragon Ball voice acting, Last of Us Part 2 voice acting, and she is married to Travis Willingham.
And a shout out to Smosh TV with Clarence McCarry, who's associated with Smosh TV.
And let's see. Let's go with one more person. Let's go with Kyle Walker, 35, a soccer player. Happy birthday. Is there anybody else you want to throw in there? We got some other people in here I can look at. Got another soccer player right here. John Stones, 31, soccer player. And then Carrie Mulligan, 40, movie actress. That'll be it for the birthdays.
My turn.
May.
Happy birthday to everyone.
Hello, my fellow tinfoil hat wearing fellow seekers of truth and whatnot. Today, I think we talk about keeping it more local this time. Let's talk about the Michigan Triangle. Now, the Michigan Triangle is sort of like the Bermuda Triangle, but it's a lot small. It's not as big. It's just off the coast of the West Coast. It's closer to what was it? I believe it's where is it saying it? It's off the coast of where was it? It's off the coast of Wisconsin in Malkawa, Border Lake. I know I'm saying these wrong. Here we go. And oh yeah, here we go. Benton Harbor, Michigan, and Machawanka. I'm not even gonna try that. And Ludington, Michigan, makes a triangle. And apparently, a lot of ships and planes and people, for that matter, have disappeared mysteriously. Woo. It was featured in a History Channel with that one with David Ackerman, I think it was. Nobody knows what happened to him. It's been going back as far back as the colonial times. Michigan was just more green than it is now.
The first incident was the 1600s.
Yeah, I think it was the 1600s. Yeah, 1679.
Yeah, and then happened again in 1800s, and then it happened again in 1900s, and then a bunch of times in the 2000s.
Mostly cargo ships and planes. A whole plane just disappeared with over 50 people on it, and nobody found anybody. They found body parts, but they never found the plane. They found clothes, they found everything else, but they never found the plane. What else is there? See, the thing with the Le Goff, I think, me personally, I think I go with Occam's razor in that case, because I think what happened the more likely scenario is that they the captain and the crew stole all merchandise and scuttled the ship. Because you could find a way to scuttle a ship to make sure there's no sign of it ever again.
Or you could take it apart, build it into something else.
or just rename it.
Like take it look different.
Yeah, take it to a less than a Pirate's Cove and just rename the whole ship. So it's like with that one, I think that's more of an Occam's razor, but it was from the 1679. So it's like, at that point, who cares?
They were never heard from again, but there also was no more information about that for another 100 and something years.
Yeah, at that point, so it's like no. Then there was the Roosevelt with Captain Dawn, where the captain actually, the Roosevelt. It was actually kind of interesting. That was an interesting one. They actually found the ship flipped upside down. The crew was all gone. The cargo was all gone. The ship was all there. It was perfectly fine. There was no holes, no nothing. His ship was just upside down. So they flipped it back up. It served in the Navy for 50 more years. And then one day, the captain who was about to go out, he's like, I can't go out yet. And he said, I can't do it. I'm not going. I just don't. It feels wrong. I'm not going to do it. And it happened again. The crew was gone. The cargo was gone. The ship was upside down. Nobody knows why. Then there's that one guy who ended up was cross country in the winter. He walked out to the lake and just disappeared. Everybody thought he was dead. He showed up a little over a year later, and wearing his different clothes and just like 700 miles from where he was last seen.
And near his aunts or something.
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, he's right. He was near his aunts.
I wonder if he got picked up by aliens.
Who knows?
I don't know, because they said this foot tracks stopped, and there was no sign of breakage or moving or anything. It was fresh footsteps. And then he just disappeared and then popped up a year later, no memory of nothing, with fresh new clothes, full body of health, healthier than he's ever been.
He did actually talk to, and according to the History Channel, he actually did talk to news reports and all that for a while. Then he just stopped and just never talked about it again.
Because everybody thought he was crazy. And then once he probably figured it out and realized it was something more extraterrestrial, he was probably freaked out, or he got talked to by some secret men in black.
Yeah, so Will Smith just comes up and just says, yeah, Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones just go, hey, don't stop talking about this.
Well, we do not have a video for it quite yet, but we are going to be going into a new segment called Warhammer Lore.
Yes.
Would you like to take that over?
Yes, I will. Today we are going to talk about Fulgrim, the Primarch of the Third Legion. Now, Fulgrim was the noblest of the Primarchs, which makes his fall from grace so much more tragic. See, when Fulgrim, like his other brothers, were all scattered across the universe, all scattered across the galaxy, he ended up on a planet where it was very rich in minerals, but not so much rich in food. So for a long time, he worked tirelessly in the mines. He grew up in the mines. He then managed, because he was a Primarch, he's stronger and smarter, so he developed more technologies and ways to making the mining more efficient and much more less needed, so that after a while he became leader of the planet, and he turned the planet from a mining hellhole to a bastion of art and civilization. And his people loved him. He actually prefers to fight. He doesn't prefer to fight. He actually prefers to love over fear, which makes his fall from grace so much more tragic. When he eventually gets back to his legion, there was only 200 Marines left. 200 out of thousands. He rallied them. He went under the wing of Horus for a spell while he rebuilt his legion. After he rebuilt them and he got some tactics strategies, he went off on his own. And for a while, he fought bravely with his men and conquered and all that good stuff. Until he met one planet, which these snake-like entities, doing orgies and debauchery and all that. This is where he would find the sword called the Lariman sword. This sword is what eventually will lead him down the path of corruption. See, before then, he actually had a brother called Ferris, which we will talk about in another segment, since he's another Primarch. They actually had a contest that they had to make a weapon for each, a master-crafted weapon. And he made a hammer, forge breaker, and his brother made a sword, a flaming sword, that modeled off of the Emperor's sword. They exchanged weapon, and ever since then, it was a bond of friendship. But after that, when he found the Lariman sword, that's when his corruption started. His legion felt it. He felt it, that he was being slowly possessed. In fact, there's an entire book in the main series of Warhammer 40K called, coincidentally, Fulgrim, that talks about the entirety of his corruption all the way up until he kills his brother. Oh, spoilers. That talks about killing. And then he actually gets possessed by the demon of the sword. He exorcised the demon and learns about demology from him. He then goes to a planet, tricking his other brother, Traitor Primarch, Potarabo, which I think we will talk about next time. And he eventually becomes a demon Primarch, and then just completely goes debauchery. During the Siege of Terra, his legion, instead of doing what they were told and going to fight the legionaries, they just went through the population, debauching themselves, raping, murdering, pillaging, doing whatever they wanted to these poor people. And when they left, they took a bunch with them, and those people were not happy. You would feel nothing but pity for those people. He eventually would find his brother Gilliman. Remember that name. He wounds Gilliman mortally to the point in which that he has to be put into stasis for 10,000 years. That's one hell of a nap. And that's about it. And now that Gilliman's back, he's coming back and reforging his legion. His legion was scattered because of and he became an ineffective leader. So do you guys got any questions?
What was his weapon set? What did he utilize as his weapons?
Well, before he fell, he had a flaming sword made by his brother Ferris. He eventually would find a cursed blade called the Lariman blade that eventually would slowly possess him. And he became a demon primarch of Slaanesh.
Ooh.
Any other questions?
I guess, well, obviously you got possessed by Slaanesh. So that's the Chaos God he got taken over by. Who did he fall or die, or is he still alive?
Oh, he's very much alive. He can't actually, technically, he can't be killed because of his new powers. He actually fought Rogel Dawn and in a book called Saturnine, and Dawn just ripped him to pieces. He just beat him black and blue. And then after a while, after he realized that his whole scheme failed, he said, "One, I can't die." And his body and his armor just repaired itself right there. And Dawn was just like surprised after all the damage he did to him. His arm was literally hanging off by barely any sinew, and he just repaired himself, and then left.
That's hardcore. All right, so that's the end of the segment for that for now. We'll have an actual intro video for that, brought to you by DJ Thunderbase Studios himself.
Yes.
You're pointing at
What?
me now.
I'm pointing at him.
On to our segment. It is game time.
Sega.
Yes, please. Yeah, so
Currently playing Dome Dark Age. Ooh, I'm having so much fun with it. The chainsaw shield, the flail. Oh, so much fun.
I have recently got back into Super Smash Bros. On the Nintendo Switch because I found my copy that I lost it during the move, and for like 8 months straight I've been looking for this. Finally I found it, and I was just like, Smash Bros, and just back into it. I was in the tournament for the EA tournament for the top 500. I got 8th place as Donkey Kong, and it's the only reason I didn't get further. I got cocky, and once I dropped one of my stocks, I had 2 to his 1. And even the guy said, "You would have won if you didn't do that. You want to do a what was it, like a rematch?" And I was like, "No, I respect you, dude." I still went through and whooped the guy that won first place, but that was later.
God, I remember the original Super Smash Brothers, Master Hand, the Metal Mario segment where you had to basically beat on the metal, like the Mario that couldn't be moved really well.
Yeah, the more damage you did, you finally could actually move them. Yeah, I love that one. That Smash Bros is funny. To this day, it's still around $60 per freaking copy. Even the ones all the way from from like 64 to GameCube to Wii to Switch. Like they're all. I think there's one more I'm missing that's on the Wii U, but unless they didn't put one on the Wii U, I actually don't know.
Well,
but
it's
hopefully
as
they make
they
a new
say,
one.
The more it's deemed after, more people want it, the higher the cost is gonna be.
True, and I'm a big Smash Bros. Fan, but I'm gonna wait. I got the old school stuff for now. I have games for days. Games for days. Games for days.
I actually got a new game that I'm gonna
Yeah,
be
it was on the
playing
Wii.
soon, called Tower of Fantasy. I'm not real sure. It's an anime game. I'm not sure exactly what the game's about, but I will find out eventually.
Oh yes.
Oh, it was on 3DS too?
It's a PS4.
You got a PS4 version, okay? Yeah, I prefer my Nintendo, my Xbox, and PC, but PC is rules
Tower of
all.
Fantasy, I'm meaning.
I like my Xbox. I used to have a PS4, but it got destroyed. It got covered in asbestos.
Well,
Yep, my Xbox got the red ring of death, so
I've had a couple Xboxes and they've got the red ring of death in the weirdest ways. It was funny the one time I had my Xbox get the red ring of death, and I had a friend named Jimmy hanging out with me in the basement with my where I was living at the time, and he hit it with his fist, and it started working. Got a green ring again, started running perfectly fine, and it ran for like 10 more years, and it finally died. And then I got another one, and then that one died, and I just got that one lasted like 10 years, and I just got a new one that's been refurbished with a special fan built into it for original Xbox. And I'm teaching my kids how to play the old school games. They're going to be learning classic Mario and Zelda, and then they're going to go to like Metroid Prime, and from there, and then, well, my kids' first witness to video games is Warhammer. Warhammer 40K for Dawn of War. All she's seen was red lights and just from blasting and gunfire, and just thousands of people just blasting at each other, and then giant explosions, and she just having a laugh. Yeah, and then just. Oh man, I love playing that game. I've played so many hours. I've probably years worth altogether, I would say. Played that game for a long time. Dawn of War 1 all the way through Dark Crusade. Soulstorm was fun, but Dark Crusade with the mods, I'll go with that. Has everything. Play it forever. Have all the races. My favorite's the Grey Knight.
Oh yeah. Speaking of Warhammer 40K Space Marine 1 remastered is coming out next month.
That's going to be fun. So you guys excited for that?
Oh, I am. And also for Darktide, they are adding a new class. They are adding the RBCs. Basically, think of them as RoboCop of Judge Dredd version. In fact, that's probably what they inspired Judge Dredd from.
Yeah, but now it's time for us to get into everyone's favorite section. Here's our political chat.
So Trump pardoned a bunch of people that he should not have pardoned. He pardoned a couple who committed massive bank fraud and mocked everybody because of it. And a sheriff who was basically selling badges for cash in his district.
I didn't hear about those. Wow. Those
And-
most recent or something?
Yeah, they're recent. I think it was this week.
Okay, yeah, I didn't hear anything about that yet. I was hearing more about the foreign politics. That's what I was focused on.
Politics. Well, the thing is with the foreign stuff is that Donald Trump's just totally screwing that up.
Some of it he's stopped. Like I've witnessed both sides of it, and there's some things he's doing that are strategic and making sense. And there's other things he's doing to like distract people. But when it comes down to it, he's preparing for defense against this war because we all have a lot of chatter and information going on about that whole thing, and China and Russia are gearing up against us from what it looks like. And
They've been gearing up against us for years.
I know, but now they're actually like pulling the Red Dawn. Like they're going to be pulling that trigger soon, and I don't think that's going to be good. But hey, America will have the best shootout ever. Oh, they will learn the lesson and might and strength of us, and that we're not scared. And then when we find out there's a threat, we all unite. Even though we fight against each other at times, we all unite. But yeah, with him, it all really depends. Like he's doing some good stuff. I've actually noticed some stuff with JFK. He banned a lot of foods that were actually really bad for us because of certain dyes and products, unless they change those products that are bad for your digestive system and then cause cancers.
I know Pepsi is now moving away from the artificial sugars. They're moving back to real sugar.
Yeah, it's seed oils. That's something I'm actually very proud of and happy about with JFK on that, doing that, because that's something we do need, because that made a big difference on people's health. There was a lot less cancers and everything from that, and issues and sicknesses. That's one big thing. Because I was watching whole studies on it. We're talking about the French fries being dipped in seed oil and how bad they are for you. It's almost like smoking like a whole pack of cigarettes, eating a thing of fries. It's disgusting.
What else was there?
Your insides are not meant to digest the seed oils that way, so it absorbs certain parts of your body into your certain cells and causes cancer because it can't be digested properly, and it takes longer.
Trump just pardoned another guy, former New York lawmaker Michael Grimm, for again tax fraud. Doesn't that sound familiar?
Well, the thing is, he's pulling up the stuff from all the other people that have already did a bunch of tax fraud. And sadly, they're probably some of these people are his homeboys. So,
or they're giving him something.
Maybe.
Like I heard one of those pardons, they bought $1 million plate for a dinner that was going for $1 million a plate.
So they invested into the government back to do something.
I doubt.
Okay, so
I
it's
think
probably the money they invested or they stole, and they're like, "Hey, instead of putting me in jail, I'll put the money towards this for a donation."
Yeah, but the problem is that these people have already been sentenced. Even with a pardon, that doesn't nullify the fact that they're still felons. They can't serve they can't serve in political. They can't serve in politics because they're felons. The pardon
let them just live their lives normally.
A pardon means you can't. A pardon means that you don't have to pay for the crime. It doesn't mean that it wipes your slate clean.
No, I agree. What I'm saying is just now they have to live as a normal, everyday person with a regular job. They shouldn't have no pension or anything after, though, or any money waiting for them on the other end. I think that's what.
Now I think the Christies have found a way to stash away a couple of million someplace that nobody found.
And that's on them. And if someone catches them, it's on them. But they're probably going to investigate them too. What they sometimes do is they do a whole catch and release. They're going to release you. They're going to follow you, investigate you, and then catch you for a new crime. Yeah, sure, you're pardoned for that, but you're not pardoned for this new crime we just caught you for.
Or more
Thank you
likely,
for all your assets and showing me where your extra $4 million was that we were looking for.
or more likely, what happened is that in some cases, the fact that
Because that does happen.
that these people have defrauded so many people that it actually would have been probably be a better idea if they stayed in prison than getting released, because you screw over enough people. Some people don't like getting screwed over. Now, let me make this perfectly clear to all this. This podcast is not endorsing any violence, but there are people out there who would go to violence way.
It's better to talk about it first. It's better to sit down and discuss. This is coming from a person that's done violence his whole life. A former fighter, wrestler, and other things. Trained my whole life, specialized in combat. I like it. I'm good at it. I still run a group called the GMK, the Grey Mercenary Knights, and teach hand-to-hand combat, knife self-defense, and everything else. I love it. I'm not the best, but I know the basics to at least survive. And if I'm beaten, congratulations. I may learn something today. I like learning things. I like losing. Losing means you learn something. Learn not to lose like that again. Do it again. Practice, train, repetition, conditioning. You have to push your body. When it comes to this stuff, though, I haven't looked too much into that recently. The only thing I've looked into is more of the other pardons that were more on the Democratic side at the time, which they're actually looking into more now with the auto pen. Having a lot of questions about that, but that's just going to be fun with the whole Fauci thing. I just can't wait till he gets arrested. He deserves it.
Did he already
Especially
get
for killing the dogs. Horrible thing he did to those dogs, and then just left them to die. Horrible person. You don't do that. You don't leave dogs to die. That's not cool. But those are my thoughts.
Yeah.
Besides that, when it comes to the war thing, I heard there was an assassination attempt that was on Putin that was supposedly from Ukraine, unless it was staged by Putin purposely to make it look like that so he can push forward deliberately.
I wouldn't put it past him to make it.
I wouldn't put it past him either.
Neither would
How he was acting, it seems like he was more of just, it was a ploy. I think he staged his own drones to send to attack himself and put, like, either he knew his shit was bulletproof or he put blanks in theirs.
Well, also remember that Putin used to be part of the KGB.
Mm-hmm.
Subterfuge and misdirection is his bread and butter.
It's in his training.
So did I just answer something and now supposedly they're going to try to kill my ass? Sweet, let's go. Just remember, it's for the people, by the people, of the people, for the people party. We are, like how I say, we're something else instead of this whole left-right fighting thing. When it comes down to it, you see it just like as it is. We're here for like an understanding, a yin and yang effect, in order to find out the solution to the issues. Anybody else wants to sit down sometimes and jump in on the podcast and have a conversation with us, we are more than gladly to have that conversation, extend the episode just for the chat from a special guest. You remember to like, share, and comment, and subscribe. We when it comes down to it, just remember, people, we don't need a forgetful elephant or a corrupt jackass. We need a free, brave bird. And he understands the difference between the red, white, and blue. And then when you blend it all together, still get a shade of purple. All right. On that note, Thunder Bay Studios, back to you.
We appreciate you all for joining us tonight. Please join us again next week, same time, same place. I'm Devontae Ewing, aka DJ Thunderbase, saying thank you for joining us.
Oh yeah, D&D.
Yeah, we forgot about that.
Yeah. We want to say that right before we end this tonight. D&D will be Friday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, for Rolling to Die, to get to the next part of the Mimic campaign. see if someone will be eaten or survive. You guys will find out this week. Back to you,
Be
Thunder
there.
Bay. Sorry for
Be
interrupting.
there or be square.
Again, this is Devontae Young, aka DJ Thunderbase, saying thank you for joining us. Join us again next time. Good night. Have a good